reasonable.
I
All
take
right.
no sides, Carlos.
Okay. Hey, I'll take sides, and I wouldn't blame you for taking sides all day.
Just
Uh,
because yours has the most lag.
all of a sudden, here we lag it forever.
Oh, snaps.
We are on Salient Points number 49. This was for December 7th, 2021. I'm Carlos Macias, your host of this here fine program. Go to wegotcoms.com on YouTube, like, subscribe. I think we picked up 1 or 2 subscribers, so hooray, right? We could clap, right? That's okay for the producer side of things, right, Luis? So thank you very much for liking, subscribing. We're going to have to go live or something at some point, right? We'll figure it out. We have barely figured out how the schedule is when we don't record live, so we'll have to, like, we're going to have to be like, we're doing it live, and we'll see what kind of crap show shitstorm we create there. But hey, look, as per 95% per use from up in the mountains, Dalan Kirkwood, thank you for joining us this week, sir.
And I quote, not my fucking tempo.
Oh, damn. Hey, I will say this. Congratulations on the Scene Tip podcast. And we had a couple little technical issues, but it's up. The YouTube video
Thank
is
you very
up.
much.
I did like the fact that I was able to crack open a beer and be like, this is Dalan's show. Even though if you guys heard it, I'm pretty sure I took over half the show. I'm not, sorry about that, Dalan.
Well, there were a couple of pieces where you bulldozed in and gave me your pointers on the show right in the middle of us doing the show.
Yes.
But other than that,
yes, very reasonable. Okay.
But other than that, it still ended up turning out pretty good along the way, and I think I'm going to adjust that because you're right. When I have somebody on with me, I can't have it be a Q&A.
Yeah.
I have to make it more fluid.
And look,
and it was the first episode. We're gonna build on it.
Yeah, no, that's a process, man. By episode 46, just like this one, or should I say, not like this one, we haven't caught on quite yet.
Hey man, I'm trying to find our stride
Afterlife.
by episode 8.
Okay, well, okay, that's good. That's a good little. You have some high hopes. I'm trying to find our pace by episode 150. So we're also on the Wheels of Steel. Luis Mendez, thank you for joining us, sir, from DTLA.
You got it.
Dalan, you were gonna say something before I rudely interrupted.
Well, it was just about the fact that it took me some time for the people that don't know. If they watch the video, I put a bunch of little extra things in it. Just because that's why I wanted the podcast to be like. I wanted to have all those little funny things pop up.
Little wacky moments. Okay.
Yeah, very many wacky moments. I put things throughout the entire video just so it's entertaining the entire time.
Well, whatever it is, you're definitely putting more work into it than I am. I'm just kind of snipping the ends and bookending it. I was like, nah, and then it's up. But all right, so look, we have there's a couple good little stories this past week. The first big one, of course, is that finally Sony seems to be waking up and they're kind of getting into this PlayStation Game Pass situation. Of course, they're not calling it Game Pass, but this is from our friends over at Bloomberg. They say that
Reputable.
it's code Jason Schreier or somebody, but Bloomberg.
Jason Schreier.
So they're saying that it's going to be codenamed Spartacus. It's going to be ready for launch. It's going to be ready for launch spring 2022. And this is from one of Jason Schreier's tweets. He says, quote, "This new service, expected in the spring, will likely retain the PlayStation Plus branding. Don't expect Sony to include its big new games day one like Game Pass does, but the expectation is a stronger offering than PlayStation Now." A few other details on that Bloomberg story is that it's going to be in 3 tiers. The first tier is kind of what we're used to now with PlayStation Plus, kind of how we get a few games a month. The second tier is going to be a larger library of PlayStation 4 games. Eventually, they're going to add PlayStation 5 games. And then in the third tier is going to be, quote, extended game demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games. And of course, the PlayStation Now is expected to be phased out. Real quick, to me, it seems like this is kind of like a Game Pass cross Nintendo Online, and I don't know if I like it, man. They're already BSing us with this nonsense, man. Here's the PlayStation Plus you know and love, and now a Genesis expansion pack and an N64 expansion pack, and we're just gonna give you a couple little extra games. So please to enjoy. Not only that, but we will not fully compete with Game Pass. We're not even gonna give you day one Horizon, day one nothing. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I'm that convinced by it. Dalan, we'll start off with you, man. What are your thoughts on the few details we got here?
My thing is, how come they didn't just put that all into one PlayStation Plus package? I mean, they could do PlayStation Plus Plus, I guess, because what Xbox did go with their Game Pass, just regular, and Game Pass Ultimate or whatever. So I'm guessing
Microsoft
that
is a
Plus
little
is
wacky.
probably going to lean that way.
Microsoft is a little wacky also. Like, if we stop to think about it, right? They have Xbox Live Gold, which is you're paying for online, and that gives you a few games a month. And then they have just Game Pass, which is just, Game Pass plus the online, and then you can get it as Ultimate, which gives you online and Gold and Game Pass all together. But I feel
then they have the thing where you could split. You could either purchase it just for PC or just for Xbox or both.
But I mean, I think in a way the Xbox has been a little smart about it because they do a conversion rate. So if let's say you have an existing Game Pass Ultimate, everything converts to Game Pass Ultimate. For example, if you get like 3 months of Gold, I think that translates and converts to like 2 months of your Game Pass Ultimate. So it's a little wacky as well. But I
also feel like they had a couple of moments of trial and error with this whole Game Pass.
Well, they've been working on it for a while, right? Now PlayStation's kind of like catching up, and they're like, we want to do it too, but not go full on like Xbox does. We're about to get Halo Infinite in a couple of days, Dalan. Like just for free. Forza Horizon 5 a month ago. No co-op. I know it's delayed, and we can talk about that another day as far as the wackiness of that. But yeah, Luis, what are your thoughts on this, man? You hyped for this new PlayStation Game Pass situation?
Not necessarily hyped for it. I think just looking at it, though, it does seem like more than anything, which is probably why you don't like it, and you probably don't necessarily know why, is they're just rebranding their existing services and bundling it under the PlayStation Plus umbrella so that it seems similar to like what Xbox does, right? You just add a part of the service onto your existing subscription.
Yeah.
So it seems more enticing versus like actually being you thinking, oh, I have to go get another service, PlayStation Now, on top of my,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the worrying thing to me is the fact that there's like a tier system. That's where the wackiness is. Instead of like, I understand what you're saying.
You're ready for it to hit $75, $80.
Yeah, I mean, Luis, you're making a perfectly valid point. Dare I say a salient point? The fact that yes, they're combining the whole thing, kind of like Xbox does, right? But at least Xbox is like day and day, we're giving you the best games, the ones you expect, and PlayStation is kind of like, we're going to give you, and like Jason Schreier says, a stronger offering than what they do now. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
Point.
Like, doesn't mean
that's
anything.
That's my point, though, is that they're taking their existing service and not changing it, which is why you're not getting those games day one or whatever, because it's not Game Pass. It's just PlayStation Now restructured to make it look like something different.
So where you're getting both. Where you're getting Plus and PlayStation Now together. And now...
but if they raise the price, you're still paying for PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, what is the pricing structure? But like I said, like a 3-tier structure instead of like we're combining everything, right? Like we're putting it all together. Because I mean, Ultimate on Xbox is $15 a month, and you're getting your online, you're getting your games with Gold, you're getting everything. PlayStation is like not necessarily saying that, but we'll see when they actually launch it in spring 2022. But it already feels a little wacky. If they had said day and date, I would have been a little sold, like, okay, when Horizon drops next year in February, we're going to do PlayStation's Game Pass. They're not going to call it Game Pass because they don't want to, talk to the opponents like that. But whatever Spartacus, they're like, it launches February. And guess what? When this launches, you get the next Horizon day and date. But they're not saying that. They're like, PlayStation Now used to be like a streaming service. And then eventually they started giving you downloads, so it's kind of like, well, we already had access to all this stuff, and it kind of continues a whole like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP games are like, we're giving you this library of games, but it's the same thing as with Nintendo, right? It's like, you don't have them. You're either going to stream them or download them, or we're going to give you access to these as long as you keep paying for the subscription. But
I like the fact that they talk about giving you PSP games, but not PS Vita games.
Ooh, hey, man. It's very depressing for me to... Yeah, you're right, though. You're right. I mean, where's these Vita games? We need these. All right, before we move on, Dalan, Luis,
nope, that was my Vita comment. That was good.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see next year, man. Spring 2022. they they got to get on board. I mean, but that that's one of the things as far as Sony's concerned is they have the biggest exclusives. We always thought they don't need to do this, but now they're kind of dipping their toes into it, and we'll see what comes out of it. What else is kind of dipping their toes, or kind of we've been hearing a little bit more about, is BioShock 4. And this was kind of cool because a lot of this came from Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols. He's kind of been moving some pieces around, and people have been corroborating stories. But we kind of know that it's going to be set in 1960s Antarctica. And as far as what he said on his podcast, Sacred Symbols, he said the studio has been given, quote, incredible latitude to get it right, unquote. And I like that his co-host, Chris Reagan, they were like, well, what about in space? It's like, that's called System Shock. They already made the BioShock in space. So it's kind of, I'm kind of excited, man. And I don't know about you guys, but maybe we get a little teaser at the Game Awards. Dalan, what do you think, man? Or what do you think about this, the few scant details we have about it? Or if it'll be
well, just the idea of another BioShock, like after Infinite, my brain shut down on BioShock. I was like, I'm not even sure if I want to see another BioShock. And since then, so many other good games have come out that BioShock, or at least the idea of another BioShock, took a back seat for me. It's like we were out here like, where the heck is the next Skyrim? Where is this Starfield that people are talking about? We were waiting for, well, I guess some people were waiting for Godfall. I was waiting for what's the other game that was recently announced where the horse goes vertically up? I can't remember the name.
It jumps straight up. It jumps straight up vertically. Doesn't follow no kind of laws of physics.
Anyways, let's talk about that game that I currently can't remember the name of. But it's the fact that there's all these other good games that are coming out, and then they throw BioShock, which is not confirmed, right in the middle of it, and you're like, I kind of want to see that. Yeah. But I hope that they do get that incredible latitude that Colin talks about, because when BioShock Infinite was announced and they showed their original tech demo, it was awesome to see them like swinging around and sliding on all those rails that they were going to use their hooks for. And then when you actually got the game, you got like a couple of moments of it, and it wasn't even a real travel system. It was actually very irritating.
I'm a little offended that, look, I get what you're saying. Some of the stuff in the teasers and the trailers, yes, they're kind of overselling you on a thing, but don't you dare say that BioShock is nothing short of a masterpiece, man. Get out of here.
No. BioShock's 1 and 2, maybe. BioShock Infinite, maybe. I don't know if I can say that.
Even Infinite was pretty good. I mean, it doesn't.
I'm not saying it wasn't pretty good. I enjoyed Infinite, but I know a lot of people hated Infinite.
I well, speak for yourself, Dylan. We over here speaking for other people. Speak for yourself.
I'm re-quoting other people. I liked it, but it wasn't better than 1 or 2. I could say that.
Yeah, possibly.
It was definitely the worst in the series.
And those are pretty good. Well, 2 I think might have been a little worse, man. I think I would go 1 Infinite and then 2. Even though 2 had like the best DLC, like with the Little Sisters DLC or whatever it was. That was pretty nice. If you ever played the DLC, Minerva's Den, I believe it was called. That was really nice. I think I might have not even bought BioShock 2 when it came out, but when the DLC dropped and people were hyping it up, it's like, I gotta check this out. I gotta do this in my life. So, but yeah, I mean that's BioShock Infinite. BioShock 4. What about you, Luis? What are you hyped about this, man? 1960s Antarctica.
Yeah, I actually, contrary to Dalan, where he's talking about it took a backseat, like that's always been some sort of like pending thing behind, like in the back of my mind, like when's the next one? Are they ever gonna make one? Like I've always kind of thought about it, not expecting one, but just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. Is that you weren't expecting it, so this is kind of a surprise.
Yeah, but it was always on my mind.
I know,
like,
Dylan.
It was always on my mind. I'm always thinking about
it. It's different.
I'm pretty sure you were too busy thinking about GTA. Stop playing GTA.
If you want, hold on. Put the camera on me. Put the camera on me. If we want a GTA 6, stop logging into GTA 5.
Is that why Dalan just bought GTA 5? Because we're all gonna play and do heists? Is that why he just bought it?
Okay,
I bought it because it was on sale, and I still haven't installed it.
It's not my fault, guys. You're the ones giving them money right now.
I haven't given the money in a good while. But Luis, BioShock 4, man, 1960s Antarctica. We're talking about the thing here, right?
Yeah, maybe they're drawing some influence from that, if that is the case. I did play 1 and 2. The 1's the best one. 2 I didn't like as much, but I still thought was good. I never played Infinite, so that one's always been on my back, like in my Steam library, just waiting for me to play it.
Yeah.
But I heard good things, and I did play some of it, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
it'll
see.
be
I
exciting.
hope we see a little bit at the Game Awards, man. That'll kind of get us a little bit more hype, right? To actually see
I
some
hope they have.
visual confirmation.
I hope they have a bunch of grandiose ideas and they're able to put every single one of them in it. I mean, we're in the PS5 era at this point. So, yeah, exactly. What are we doing? We're doing everything.
No,
that's what we're doing.
With no crunch?
Come on, dude. With no crunch. You want them to crunch or not?
With no crunch, no delay? You want all that in there?
Oh, hey, don't crunch, just delay. I'm fine with that.
Right. Well,
we're in a delay era.
Well, you're not getting BioShock 4 till like 2027. All right, with all the delays that are gonna hit. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped about it, man. I was a fan of the original and 2 and Infinite, so I'm pretty hyped about it. 96. I actually, to be honest, I don't care where they set it, as long as they kind of have that same sort of gameplay loop where you have all these little extra gadgets and extra moves and specials that you have. I'm pretty much all good, man. As long as we get the vibe of BioShock, which I quite too enjoyed, and I actually regularly quote the whole like, are you not what is it? Are you not beholden to the sweat of your own brow when you're stepping into BioShock, man? It's it's just such an incredible game, dude. And you go underground.
Man, Carlos, are you okay?
I'm dealing with some stuff for sure. I'm definitely dealing with some things. But yeah, so BioShock 4, we'll see. Hopefully we get a little more taste of it at the Game Awards I think it's this week, right? In a few days we get the Game Awards, so I hope some good stuff come out of that.
Yeah.
Dalan, what is your big news for the past week?
Well, the thing that there were actually a couple things that actually did pop out to me this time. But the one that I'm going to touch base on in this case was Valve confirming that it has no interest in publishing games that are exclusive to their Steam Deck that's coming out. And I know I didn't put this up there, but the Steam Deck was supposed to come out in this year, December, but I guess that got postponed to February 2022.
Chip shortage, Dalan? Come on. What are you doing out here?
But during the Steamworks Steam Deck event, Valve said, no, that doesn't make much sense to us. It's a PC, and it should just play games like a PC. And I was thinking to myself, well, if you just want it to be a PC, why don't you just kind of like a miniature PC or something, like a mobile PC? But the deck will run a modified version of Valve Steam OS. And it gives access to unrestricted computer desktop where you can put in third-party applications that can be used and installed, and which is just a mobile PC. And I'm not sure if this was a good move on their part. They did mention the fact that, yeah, putting exclusive games on their Steam Deck may actually raise their numbers a bit, but they just wanted it to be a thing where they could just have a mobile PC. I'm like, why would you even make this thing?
Well, I mean, it's easy, Dalan. Let me learn you a little bit.
No,
let me learn you a little bit. Well, that's why I'm going to learn
I don't understand.
That's why
Please
I'm going to learn you for a little bit. These guys looked at the Switch and they said, we want some of that action. And we have Steam, and Steam is not, they're barely make any games for that thing, man. What exclusives, right? Steam to them is the platform to make that sweet cash, that sweet moolah off of. And that's really what they're going to treat the Steam Deck as, is there's going to be just a platform that's out there for anybody to mess with, for everyone to produce. All they do is the hardware, and they provide the hardware, and that's it. And they kind of wash their hands of it, and they're like, pleased to do whatevs. And they're not worried about it because, an exclusive would be like the thing people referring to as far as exclusives, like when you think of the PlayStation or the Xbox, where they make Halo just for Xbox or for PC or whatever, or Horizon just for PlayStation. So to Steam, it's like they're not even thinking about it. They just want that sweet Switch-like money. And here's another platform, a mobile platform, and it perpetuates Steam even further and wider, and people are playing it everywhere. So they weren't even thinking of like, let's make exclusive content for it from the very beginning.
But with a launch of $400 and with no exclusive games of their own, if people already have Steam and playing Steam on their own on their PC, what is the incentive to even get the Steam Deck?
It's a good question.
It's like a Switch PC.
It's like
because it's like a Switch PC.
That is
it's like mobility. That is it.
I just want you to take a handheld PC everywhere you go. Not to mention, adding on Carlos' point, like the amount of money it would cost to develop a game exclusively for the Steam Deck. Like that would already eat into their profits, and they'd have to believe heavily that that game could sell a $400 mobile PC to even like consider doing that. Like that would be a lot of money to lose, like before that thing even comes out.
Yeah, I mean, the latest.
You both think that this was a good move on their part?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is sold out, man. It's gonna sell, and it's gonna have Steam. Like as default, it's gonna have it's a Steam machine. That's really what it is. It's really like somewhere for you to just download more Steam stuff, and it has all your library. And to them, it's like you're gonna buy 10, 15 more games, and we're good with that. And it really goes to Lisa's point, is the fact that, I mean, we saw it with Vita, man. They looked at Vita. They said, okay, we want that Vita niceness and specs of it all, but without the harbinger around our neck that we just produced an exclusive game to sell 10,000 copies. Why? When we make it a PC game and then we scale it down, or you're able to play it on the Steam Deck, and we're good, and we don't have to focus on it, and we'll try to kind of push it as far and wide as we can, because you're really gonna limit yourself to however many they sold. I mean, we don't have any numbers how many they sold. They said, let's say they sold 1 million copies of this thing, and they're gonna make an exclusive for what, just to sell some more of a thing that's already sold out, and that's gonna continue to be sold out for a while, especially with the chip shortage. So it's if whoever's thinking like, oh, I wanted something exclusive, is like, you shouldn't have bought one of these things in the first place. You should have known it was just a Steam machine. But I mean, I feel you're concerned, Dalan. Are you gonna grab one?
I feel like it's gonna get hacked to all hell. But I don't know, maybe.
You don't need to. I mean, it's a PC.
It's a couple months away.
You're convinced without them doing Gravity Rush. All right, you didn't even buy Gravity Rush, Dalan, so that's why they didn't make another one.
Okay, thank you very much, but I did buy Gravity Rush, but I did not play it.
Okay, there you go. See,
they still got my money. That's what
you're asking them to make Gravity Rush, and they're like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to deal with that at all.
We don't want to do that.
That costs money.
Nobody played our game.
Yeah, nobody's going to play it if we make it exclusive, versus we'll make it for PC if we want to make games. That's the other thing. We're assuming that Valve wants to make games.
We're not making Half-Life 3 anymore.
They're like, we like this Steam business. Let's make a Steam mobile version. Let's give people a way to spend more money on the go. But I do like it, Dalan. Right. I appreciate your concerns. We just have to learn you a little bit. Thank you for doubling down on the learning with me, Luis. So thank you very much for that. But just grab one, Dalan. If you believe in yourself, grab one. Then you can petition for them to make you Gravity Rush 2 on the
Hold on. You telling me to grab one. Would you tell our audience to grab one? That's what I'm going to ask.
They got to understand what they're getting into, that they're getting a Steam mobile, because I'm definitely not grabbing one. Mainly for me, if it was smaller.
Damn, all right, you basically said, read the fine print. I'm not getting one.
If I was, if it was like a smaller size, dude, that thing's humongous. That's the main concern. Because
what do you expect?
I already carry the Switch with me in my backpack, and I can feel kind of that weight of it, and it's not that heavy, right? But that thing is like almost double the size of a Switch, man, and it's too much. It's just too much.
Just try out Jonathan's, you'll be fine.
Oh, that's what I'm gonna do. Jonathan, let me borrow it. I love it. I've always wanted to try it, so we'll give that a shot. We'll move on to quick hits here. Halo Infinite, dude, I'm a little upset. I thought it was like gonna be out Monday when we're recording right now. I was like, let me play a little bit before we get on the podcast. It's like, no. It's actually out Wednesday officially, but I'm, Tuesday, 9 p.m. or whatever the global time is, right? But Halo Infinite, one of the things that came out, well, mainly the scores are pretty high. It's getting 5 out of 5s, 9s. The Metacritic is at about 87. Open Critic 86, which is the one I like more, mainly because I'm on it. But whatever. That's bias aside. And hey, they also said that 3 more PvP modes are gonna come out by the end of the year. One is Fiesta. Then we got Tactical Slayer, SWAT, and Free for All, which I'm not really sure, but Free for All must be everyone versus everyone. You'd think that'd be up there already, right? And so
I'm sorry, you said Fiesta. The only thing I think of was the grub popping head thing, the birthday thing. Like if you kill somebody in the game, you just hear pop, yay!
It's amazing, dude, and it gets better with every game. What's the one we're playing right now? 4?
We're on 4.
You definitely get that loud pop. You definitely get that loud pop on that one. But yeah, Fiesta. Honestly, you said Fiesta. The only thing I can think about Fiesta is Ford Fiesta. One of the homies had a car, a Ford Fiesta. It was a wacky car. But anyways, so the 343 community director John Junisek said, quote, "Our goal for events is to try new modes prior to adding to playlists. We'll monitor playlist health after the 3 additions above and adjust our offering if needed. But we're excited to make these updates before the holidays, so we'll have a little bit more playlists to get down with. That's on the playlist side. But one of the main concerns that and this was kind of a bigger deal to me, was that the Halo Infinite campaign missions can't be replayed. So that's I don't know how I feel about it. I guess we kind of have to go hands-on first. But Dalan, what do you about whatever, Dalan, the playlist or the fact that you can't replay missions, whatever you want to comment on.
Actually, my understanding is also it's not going to have co-op. Was that a thing?
Yeah. Wait, we've been playing through the games that you knew we were not going to be playing co-op, right, Dalan? You've been on this podcast.
No, I did not know.
Oh, wow.
I honestly did not know.
It comes out next year, man.
Okay. Luis, how long we mentioned it on this podcast that you've been on, Dalan?
Maybe.
I'm sure the last one
I don't think we have.
Yes, we have.
All right,
it's
fine.
on wax, man, that they delayed the online co-op. I think it was like a couple months ago that they said that we're going to delay the online co-op part of it, right? Or the split screen co-op, online co-op. And then they pushed it again, which was a week or two ago. So twice we've talked about it on Salient Points.
So I think my issue is I thought that they were going to push the campaign with the co-op. But no, they're going to just release the campaign. You can play it by yourself. No co-op. Yeah. You're in it by yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the most upsetting thing about this to me. But outside of that, yes, another upsetting aspect is basically not having a checkpoint. It's Returnal all over again.
No. It's not that. It's not that it doesn't have a checkpoint. It means like because the setting is a little more open world, right? So you're gonna have side missions, or you're gonna have different campaigns. What it means is that you're gonna play through the game and you can't go back to redo missions like we've been playing. How it's separated by missions. We can't go back.
Yeah, so once you've done the mission, that mission is done. Like it's a completed quest, and you cannot replay the quest. Yeah. I'm sure that they'll have some replayable quests if they're doing it in that fashion, if they even think about it. Yeah. But I understand.
I'm sure they'll. But it's a different type of game, right? It's a little more open world. Kind of, you're going off and doing different adventures. I think I was listening to a podcast recently, Los Time Pilots. It's in Spanish, but go ahead and check that out if you get a chance. And I think they were talking about how it is a little more open world. You would say it's kind of like a little Far Cry-ish in a sense, where it's like you're going on different missions and that's how you're picking them up. So maybe that's why they're not replayable, because these missions, we've been playing through these Halo games, Dalan, and we beat them in like 6-7 hours, right? So I feel maybe this was it is longer.
10 missions every game.
Yeah, so I think that's mainly what it is. But other than that, yes, you're gonna have checkpoints and you're gonna have like save progressions, right?
Does that mean this is gonna be the longest Halo campaign game ever made?
I don't know. See, I've been on sort of blackout. I just seen the scores, the numbers, but I don't want to know a lot. So I'm kind of in blackout right now. But
don't hurt yourself.
Luis, what are your thoughts here, man, as far as the PvP or the campaign mission stuff?
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I don't know if that's true or not, if it's going to be more open world or not, but I wonder if this whole like replayability chapter system, like not being able to do that, is a creative decision or just like something they had to kind of cut to make their release date. Because it sounds like it'd be something that'd be fairly complicated, unless you just have like a list of quests that you can
unless the game is open world, like you were mentioning. Because when you play the older Halo games, they're like levels. Like it literally is like you're playing through
There's 10 stages.
It's like stages, like old school first person shooters. You're playing through stages or whatever. And I think they started opening it up a little bit with 5 a little bit more, but it's still like kind of stages, but they open it up a little bit more. And I think with Infinite they said no, this is go where you want. So at that point you can kind of understand, because in GTA you can't really replay missions, right? In open world games you can't.
Yeah, you can, but it doesn't like go back to that point in time. You just like replay a quest. Yeah, essentially, right? It doesn't like keep your whole inventory and all that. You just go back to that point in time.
So I'm assuming they could do that in the future, right? I mean, if they're not giving a split screen co-op, that's probably priority, right? And then at some point, like, all right, here you go. You can.
I mean, for all the Halos, you could only hold 2 guns at a time, and they like to give you a loadout as soon as you start a mission anyway. They could probably do the same thing for that. Just give you whatever guns that you would normally start the mission with. Now, if the new Halo allows you to just hold on to like 8 different weapons that you could swap out like a backpack, like like Destiny, then that's a completely different story. But then Halo becomes an RPG at that point.
Well, we'll be finding out soon enough. Like I said, I'm on blackout. I don't want to know nothing till tomorrow. Today,
nothing.
when this
nothing.
I don't want to know nothing. So today, later on when it drops, I'll be next week. I'm sure we're gonna have some little hands-on time to talk to you guys more about it. Next on some Xbox news is Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that the modern day Xbox business could have kept Bungie. If you guys don't remember, kind of Bungie split from Microsoft. This was back in, I think it was in the works like around 2007. And then finally 2010 Halo Reach came out, and then 2013 Destiny came out. So it was kind of a long gestating kind of process for them to go independent. But Phil Spencer says, quote, at the time they had big ambitions. They had sold their business for a certain amount of money. And he's talking about how he also talked about how Microsoft got a lot of praise for Halo. I'm pretty sure Bungie would have liked to get some of that praise for the next thing, which became Destiny, right? And then he further says, quote, if you're saying, hey, I think I've got another one of these in me, I want to really take another chance. I want to really take another chance. I can understand the allure of doing that as an independent company, which means we want to make Destiny and want to attribute it to Bungie. Even though I continuously say Halo, even the new ones are made by Bungie. I don't know if you guys have noticed over the last couple of weeks. But it's 3 for 3. Dalan, what are your thoughts on this, man? Do you wish the kind of Bungie would have stayed with Microsoft, or are you okay with them like going off on their own?
I'm not 100% sure if it was a mistake, simply because at this point, the only 2 games that I could even think Bungie have made is Halo and Destiny. Name another game that Bungie did.
Marathon,
you can't.
Dalan. I mean, Marathon.
Don't lie.
I'm not lying.
All right. Well,
no, but I mean, but look, and own Oni and Oni on PlayStation.
Don't think
2.
about Marathon.
Yeah, no one.
You hear Bungie, you only think of Halo and Destiny, and that's it. And those were basically the only games that they really focused on. And right now, their only focus is really on Destiny. So Bungie has now become Destiny. If they wanted to, they could rename their company Destiny, and nobody would care.
Yeah. I mean, look, and it's kind of like to his point, right? Phil Spencer's point is like, I kind of see why they would want to split away, because they're associated with these games with Halo for so long, and they're like, damn, we're gonna make another franchise and still the success be associated with Microsoft. And remember, they split to go with Activision, right? So they actually partnered,
which was
with
a
Activision.
Terrible deal.
But so they actually had to separate twice. They first separated from Microsoft, and then they separated from Activision. Now they're actually fully independent, you know. So,
but now what will they do?
Well, I mean, if they enjoy Destiny, they'll keep working on Destiny, man. I'm sure they're percolating and doing little things in the background, right? But at the very least, it's like, you know them and you associate them with, this is their game. This is not Activision. This is not Microsoft. This is Bungie, right? Because Halo, you associate with Microsoft. As much as, yes, Bungie definitely developed the game, but you associate Microsoft and their business with Halo. But,
hey man, with Bungie separating from Microsoft, and actually in the long run, I am happy to know that, and them going independent, they can pretty much work on whatever next project they want, and I would love to see a new IP from Bungie.
They're doing Destiny, man. What do you want them to do?
Hey, maybe we'll get a Destiny contender with Bungie making a new game. Because you always like to say, where's the next Destiny? It's gonna be made by Bungie.
We haven't found it, dude. We haven't found it. So I agree with you. Maybe it's that game with the horse going straight up vertically. No inertia to that thing. It just happened to find a jump pad, and now we're jumping up vertically, straight up vertically. This one's for you, Lise. This next one. So Grand Theft Auto 3, and we just were talking about it a little while ago, but that popped up on PlayStation Now. And as far as a credible source, Wario64, we trust Wario64, right, for the deals and everything else. Right. He actually noticed that Grand Theft Auto 3 is only going to be there for less than 2 months on PlayStation Now, and he's making the assumption, which, look, I'm inclined to believe Mr. Wario, is that the same is probably going to be for San Andreas on Xbox Game Pass. It's probably only going to be there for 2 months. So if you guys are trying to like enjoy these games, they're, you got a couple months to play through them for quote unquote free. But what are your thoughts here on this, Lise?
They probably just used it as sort of like a glorified demo.
Yeah.
Put a little timer on it and just say, check it out. If you like it, buy the rest of the 2, right? like they don't want to put the whole trilogy up there because then nobody's gonna buy it. So
Well, and I mean, it kind of worked on me, right? Because I wanted to, like, for example, San Andreas. I tried that out just to try it, just to kind of see how it looked. But ultimately, I'm like, but I want the whole collection, and I want it on PlayStation. But I got to try it, and I know what it is now. But yeah, I think you're right, because otherwise they would put the whole trilogy on there, right? It's like, here, please to enjoy. Like, nah,
yeah.
we'll give you a little piece, and maybe you want some more. On similar news, I was waiting for the physical edition of it. I think it was gonna come out this week or on Tuesday or
End
sometime
of the
this
year,
week,
yeah.
but it's getting delayed to December 17th. The physical edition of Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition. So for Xbox and PlayStation, December 17th. For the Switch, it's actually coming out in early 2022. So I think that's getting a little further out delay. In the latest patch fix, it's funny, they said that 117 bugs were fixed for San Andreas, and they also added cloud cover. So people were really missing the kind of fog, that PlayStation 2 classic fog. They were missing that, and they re-added it onto there. Any thoughts on that, Luis?
Yeah, I mean, people complained a hell of a lot about it, right? About textures looking low res or this and that or whatever. So yeah, it makes sense that their next update is like just all bug fixes or like quality of life, I guess, with the fog or whatever.
They
Interestingly
changed
enough,
somebody's
though,
shirt.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
not
quality
sure.
of life is
Maybe
like a
something.
new couch, Dalan. But Luis, Luis, continue. But what's?
Funnily enough, though, I'm pretty sure that fog was there for performance reasons because they couldn't render at a certain distance, so they basically added that so they didn't have to render those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But I guess people like the aesthetic,
I
so
I mean, they got used to it, right? You get used to, like, oh, I like the fog. I like the smog of LA. It adds to whatever it is, right? And you know, they're pulling assets from GTA 5 at this point, right? So it's
right.
kind of like, well, we have clean assets for you. Why do you guys want to fog it up like that? But people are definitely missing that. Now, you know, not to put there is a source, Lise. Have you heard back from this source that worked on these games on how that person feels as far as the feedback to the game and the glitches and stuff, or anything you could say, or no, on the record, on wax?
Wait, what are you talking about?
That you kind of knew somebody that sort of worked on this collection? Is that
Oh
fair to
yeah,
say?
no, I haven't actually talked about it with him.
Okay.
I told him that I bought it, but that was about it.
Oh, okay, because I'd be interested to
I
know. I was
have
like, hey
no
man,
issues with it.
yeah. You've been playing it. You've been playing through them, and it's been
Yeah.
fine. Besides the launcher, right? That was a whole mess,
Yeah, that
right?
was the only thing. I couldn't actually play the games like the first 2 days I bought it, but it's about what I expected. The
Mm-hmm.
same game with like better
Yeah.
visuals, you know? So,
Yeah. I mean, it's still kind of whatever people are complaining about. They definitely shouldn't be like try to burn down developers' houses and all this other crap that they're trying to do or whatever. Not that that's something I heard. I'm just saying, like, the vitriol
yeah.
online, right? It's like, it does kind of suck though, because it's like at the same time, it's like they're dropping 3 games and they up-res them and they threw in assets, so it's not gonna be perfect. But at the same time, it's like, come on, Rockstar, what are we doing out here, man? These games have been out for a while,
Well, it
right?
wasn't them, that's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it? So
It was Grove Street Games.
okay,
They're the ones that created it. I'm
okay.
assuming someone at Rockstar was like art or game director or something of like
Mm.
everything that they signed off on everything, but it wasn't them that made it.
Okay. Got you. So we'll see kind of what comes out of that. I'm still waiting on the physical version. I should be getting it sometime this next week, and I'm kind of hyped for it. That I'll finally kind of see how far I get into these games. The next thing on here is Hazelight is apparently forced to abandon its It Takes Two name because of a Take Two copyright claim. And I was thinking about it. I didn't think about it. I was like, wait, what's the claim? And I was like, oh, it's got to be like they have the same game or something like that. No, it's as simple as Take Two is in the name of It Takes Two, the Take Two in Take Two. And they've been doing these kind of wacky things where a couple different companies, there's a company that's a clothing company called Max Fane, Rockstar Axe Throwing, for, you guessed it, Axe Throwing. Think Like a Rockstar, that was a book that someone did, and they all abandoned the trademark instead of going with Big Bad Take Two, right? And in a statement to Eurogamer, a Hazelight spokesperson said the studio, quote, cannot comment on ongoing disputes, end quote, but the team was, quote, hopeful it will be resolved, end quote. So this is it's a little wacky, right? That Take Two is like, oh, it's in this game, It Takes Two. and that's why we're trying to like get them to like remove or abandon their claim or abandon their their trademark. And it sucks, man, because we kind of we really enjoyed that game, right? And I hope it's up there.
The name was like perfect for what it was, and it was a damn near perfect game. Definitely not for young children. It was more adult than I expected to be. But again, it was like one of the most fun games that I played this year. So I guess it could actually be right up there with Kenna and Bridge of Spirits for me. Okay, but changing the name, it's going to be a little awkward because you're going to go down the line. It's going to end up like Edge of Tomorrow. They're just going to upright change the name. I'm like, what?
It's one of those things that it's unfortunate, just kind of how these things work, like legal stuff works, where it's like it's not necessarily who's right, it's who can back it up, who can like who has the money to be like, all right, we'll keep fighting, we have more money than you do, so keep trying to fight us. So and the It Takes Two developers, they're not that big of a developer, right? Even though I think maybe EA published it or something, but it's not an EA brand, right? It's Haze like that, or they might have published it themselves or whatever. So it kind of sucks that it feels like they're just picking on them, right? On the little guys, like, really, Take Two? I mean, what are you guys doing out here?
I do feel like that's the case because I can't think of any instances with video games right now, though I am sure it's happened. I could more so think of it as instances with movies. You have a movie that's like called Ghost, and then you have another movie called Ghosts. And they're two completely different movies, but they're not going after each other.
Yeah. Luis, your thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, I mean, they can still, rely on the copyright. So that I don't think they're going to change the name of the game necessarily, but they were just trying to get like that franchise trademarked or whatever it was, right? So, but yeah, that's just, I don't know, man. Take Two just they just look like a bully out here. Like, what's even the point of like going after Rockstar axe throwing? Like, who gives a shit, right? Like,
yeah, and I'm glad you made that distinction, man, because basically what you're saying is that they'll be able to publish It Takes Two, or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just a little different, right? It's a distinction in like a trademark versus a copy, right? So we should still be able to get It Takes Two, or but we'll see. I mean, yeah, exactly how you're saying. It's like come on, Take Two, what are we doing? You just released GTA the trilogy, and you're working on GTA 6, and we keep logging into GTA 5. So what are we really doing now?
Like, Take Two, leave them alone. You're an established company, you'll be fine.
You'll be all right. So this one, Activision Blizzard is still kind of dealing with a lot of stuff. One guy that's kind of like saying, kind of putting a stop to it, and I think it's a little interesting, right? But so this is from gamesindustry.biz. It says, in a Twitter statement, Jeff Keighley wrote, quote, "Beyond its nominations, I can confirm that Activision Blizzard will not be a part of this year's The Game Awards. Quote, the Game Awards is a time of celebration for this industry, the biggest form of entertainment in the world. There's no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company or any community." Which, you know what, it's kind of interesting, right? Because I think Jeff Keighley could have taken the stance of like, we're not putting out any Activision stuff or anything like that, but then at that point you kind of punish the people actually working on these games, right? That they're helping build these worlds and these games, and it'd be unfortunate to be like, we can't feature any Activision stuff. So I think it's pretty fair. But besides, like he was saying, the nominations, he's saying no trailers from them, no kind of other associated things, which kind of still kind of impacts the developer, I feel, in a way. But I don't know. At least, how do you think about this, man? The fact that Jeff Keighley's like, you know what? Just the nominations. We'll keep it like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a hard line to walk. It's like what you're saying is like, because yeah, you kind of stick it to the man, but then everyone that's actually working on these things doesn't actually get their hard work displayed out in front of the audience that they're trying to get it to. So it's yeah, it's an interesting sort of. I don't know if I could make that decision, right? So
yeah.
If he's getting any sort of like backlash for it, I don't know that if it's justified. Either way, you could kind of see it as like a bad thing. So
yeah, you could kind of see it both ways, right? But it is his show. It's not the Game Awards. It's Jeff Keighley's awards. So in a way, it's kind of like you could kind of respect his editorial or his decision on. It's like, look, the nominations are cool, but Activision Blizzard's a little icky right now. Dalan, your thoughts on this?
Well, that's exactly it, is the fact that they have all this high profile negativity that, there are times where you got to say, just lie low and actually do it. This is one of those moments. Lie low, get the other gunky shit out of the way. And when you're able to actually, fix your problems, then make a comeback slowly, not all at once. Don't just come back throwing a big ass massive party that you fixed all your problems, because that's not going to erase the history that you've had.
Yeah.
I mean, this is right in the forefront, and you cannot be out here saying we're getting nominations, money, and all this crap when you're in the middle of all these lawsuits and Me Too harassments and all this crap. So not a good idea.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and they just seem like, it seems like they keep doubling down on like more ickiness, right? Like they let go of a bunch of people. I didn't put it on the rundown, but from, I think it was Raven Software, or whoever was working on Warzone, who was working on Warzone, they're like, we're gonna remove a whole bunch of people, and then they had to come out and
1/3 of them,
and they had to come out and make a statement. It's like, hold on, we're transitioning some people full time, and 20 people are gonna lose their jobs, you know. So it's kind of one of those things that it actually initiated a walkout, right, from a lot of the developers, and they're like, you know what, this is kind of some BS, because it's like, this is their most successful game, and they just did an event. So coming off of an event that they just did in the game, they're like, you know what, we're gonna remove some people. That's what we're gonna do here. So there's a lot of turmoil and interesting kind of things going on over there at Activision. I think Bobby Kotick is still there. Had we predicted last episode that he'd be gone by the time we're recording next? I don't know. I guess they'll let him live to see the holidays, and then we'll see in the new year. They'll put it on a Friday's news item, and they're like, Bobby Kotick is. I was like, really? He's
well, we didn't predict that he'd be gone, but he did make a statement that he was not going to step down, and he just wanted to fix it. And like, okay, good luck.
Well, I mean, you hope he's authentic about it, but I think people have come out already. It's like, no, this guy has known about this crap for years. He's just been kind of brushing it under the rug. But so next thing on here, not being brushed under the rug, but they're kind of trying to do something about it, is the Democrats actually are introducing a new, and this is the actual act that they're putting forward, Stopping Grinch Bots Act. They're trying to put that forward.
I love the name. That was my other story I was thinking.
And this is from Representative Paul Tonko. He's a Democrat from New York. He said in a press release, quote, "At a time when families should be able to spend time with their loved ones, digital quote-unquote Grinch bots are forcing Americans to scour online sites in the hopes of finding an affordable gift or paying exorbitant prices for a single toy. These bots don't just squeeze consumers, they pose a problem for small businesses, local retailers, and other entrepreneurs trying to ensure they have the best items in stock for their customers." That's just the whole bunch of like nonsense. I feel. I mean, I understand he's got to sell it to his what do they call this, his constituents and all that. And I think it's kind of funny, right? Like it's Stopping Grinch Bots Act, which is, it's kind of funny that it's gotten to that point where representatives of the country are like, you know what, we don't like these Grinch bots. We're gonna stop them. We're gonna put a stop to these knuckleheads. But I mean, it is kind of America. As we talk to our scalper / reseller friend, he's like, it's America. People are gonna buy and resell. If it goes through, I think I'm okay with it, right? I mean, that's kind of cool. I don't know how they actually implement it. I mean, we'll find out. But Dalan, what are your thoughts on this? On the Stopping Grinch Bots Act?
You mean consumers of late capitalism? But when it comes to this act, I believe there was also the idea that the UK had also done something similar, but all it did was embolden the people to actually do it more. Yeah.
How do you implement it, right? That's the thing. Like,
how do you implement it? How do you even know they're bots at that particular point? They're there to specifically click around and buy these things. But I know that, I guess PlayStation or somebody, it was a company that ended up limiting how many people can get it. You'd have to like sign your name for it and stuff like that. I know Best Buy most recently has created their exclusive, you have to pay for their subscription in order to even potentially purchase an Xbox. But you don't think these people are paying like $10-15 to get that subscription for the exclusive Best Buy rights to be able to then use their bots on it? But even then, it's more like, do you have to create multiple accounts in order to buy these Xboxes or PlayStations?
I mean,
it's just, there's so many logistical issues. Trying to implement this law.
We have to assume that these are the same people that were asking Facebook, how do you make your money? How do you make money off of just like Facebook? You have to assume that these guys somehow can stop the bots. It really is. I think a lot of it is making a big statement, right? It's like, look, we care about consumers this holiday season, and we need to stop the Grinch bots. But for them to actually stop them, I feel we're giving them a little too much credit.
Well, they did blanket it and say it would be illegal to use a bot to make a purchase. And if you have good IT technicians, then I know that was redundant, but if you have good ones, then you can actually find out which ones were bots and which ones weren't. But you think they're going to put that much time and money into stopping these people from scalping? I mean, yes, it's a problem that these scalpers are buying up all the systems. Regular consumers like ourselves can't just buy a second one for our friend or something like that because they're generally gone 3 seconds into them being uploaded on the site.
Yeah.
But my thought process is right now I feel like it's inflating the numbers of the systems because as soon as the demand for it is down, suddenly so is the amount of systems that are going to be out there for purchase.
Well, you got to stop the Grinch bots, Dalan, and apparently you got it all figured out. Luis, what's going on here, man? What are we doing here?
If I were to live in some sort of perfect world, I would like them to stop the Grinch bots, right? that sounds like a very good thing.
Yes.
High in the sky.
Everything is scalpable right now, dude. Halo Lakers
that's our zinger. That's our zinger for the
scalping.
Yeah.
I couldn't get an Xbox mini fridge because that thing is all in the scalp market. Like you can't buy anything anymore. It's just so annoying, dude.
Hey man, I could have bought some Halo Hot Pockets earlier today.
Now, Luis, but you understand that like one thing is wanting that to happen and to believe that they can make it happen, but another thing is actually making it happen.
Well, the only way it's possible is if they force the seller of whatever product. They have to force them to create a system that actually works. And that would come out of their pockets. So they would be the ones that were to get sued if a bot were to make an illegal purchase. Like, that's the only way that works, is if they force these companies to create that system.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just spending money for no reason when they're selling them anyway.
Yeah, because they're already selling them.
Before, they're like, we're already selling it. Why would we spend money to make it not sell the product, right? So
just because we're worried about the right consumer and that they're having a happy Christmas or whatever, which is like, we'll just get it out. And they do try, the retailers do try, but I mean, if they really wanted to, they could try a little harder, right? But the main idea is that get people through the door. We don't have an Xbox today, but we have plenty of baby clothes for you to kind of peruse, baby bottles or whatever else, or Kit Kats, little wonky Kit Kats. This next one's for you, Dalan, real quick. So Aliens Fireteam Elite is actually coming to Game Pass on December 14, and that's really the news. That's really about it, Dalan. I mean, are you playing this? Because I kind of don't want to.
I bought it, and on top of that, I bought it.
You should have known it was coming to Game Pass, Dylan. You should have asked.
Hey, man, how was I supposed to know anything is coming to Game Pass? They're leaning towards that. They're leaning towards that spot where they're no longer going to announce what games are going to be dropping on Game Pass. I can't just wait. It's like trying to wait for a sale for the PlayStation Plus or hoping that one of the games that I really want to play.
Dylan, or what's going on here, man? Just wait.
Hey. I had to throw a rock.
Not only that, but I told you that game was crap, and you still said, Carlos.
Hey, I still haven't had a chance to play it because people that did play it played it for like 5 minutes. They're like, all right, let's do it. And then as soon as I was ready, everybody was gone. I'm like, okay,
that doesn't tell you what not just to happened?
Buy it,
yeah, hey, I know it was at the time.
5 minutes.
It's kind of like Back 4 Blood. Everybody was like, "All right, let's play Back 4 Blood."
No, but Back 4 Blood legit. Yeah, but Back 4 Blood.
I am going to be playing Back 4 Blood, and I do plan on playing Aliens, but I already have it. I don't have to wait for
Aliens. I'm pretty sure before you bought it. I don't know if we talked about it here, but off air, we should have been talking about how that game, like 2 weeks after release, had like 200 people on their online servers.
We talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, see, we talked about it, and you still said, let me try it out. Let me give it a shot.
I had a bunch of people hitting me up to play that game, and then suddenly I had nobody hitting me up to play that game.
Well,
it was peer pressure.
Well,
all right?
I hope that if we ever like download it and install it, you're not even gonna play that copy you bought. You're gonna go through Game Pass and play that
No,
version of it.
if I'm gonna play, it's gonna be on my PlayStation at this point. It better have crossplay. Does it have crossplay?
Probably not. I hope not, because you gotta jump
Probably
on Game
not.
Pass. You are a wacky person, Dalan. I told you not to buy it, and then on the podcast we said there is nobody playing it, and you said, you know what, $40 down the drain. I could do that this week.
Wow.
Just wilding too much, but I do appreciate that you straight up bought this thing knowing that it was gonna drop on Game Pass. But whatever.
No, I bought it before I knew it was gonna drop on Game Pass.
All of a sudden, they don't tell you when the games are gonna drop. We'll move on to what you've been playing. Luis, I see something a little interesting on your list here, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip it for a sec just because this one's faster. But I've been going back to Tell Me Why, finishing up chapter 3 since I apparently got all 3 chapters at free at some point. I don't remember when this happened, but I'm playing through the game.
Tell me why.
It's a fun game, man. It's not the game mechanics, like I said before, isn't necessarily the most interesting thing in the world, but it's just the story that they're telling, right? So kind of similar to Life is Strange, where you kind of walk through an environment and find the story points that you want to kind of hear or listen to. But yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
And Deathloop is the other game I've been playing.
The most arcane game to ever arcane.
I love it, man.
Oh.
I'm probably 6 hours into it, 5-6 hours into it. I don't understand. I can see.
We backtracking already.
How it's the most arcane game you've ever arcaned.
Dude, it's just like an arcane game. It's just under a different sort of facade because it's the same thing. It's an open world that you explore throughout the entire game. Yeah. The only difference here is that you go at different times of the day to different places.
Did you get to that point where you're like, oh, you're gonna have to revisit places but different times? You got already to that point?
Yeah, I've been doing that for hours already.
And you didn't say, you know what, fuck this, I'm not trying to go through no kind of different.
Well, no, because it's not what you were saying it is. It's not a roguelike, because everything is exactly the same every time you go at that time in the day. So you know where the enemies are at that point. You can get in and out really quickly. You can decide if you want to sneak or just shoot them up. Because you know where everything is, so it's not a roguelike.
So it's more so that it does not change every time you go through it.
It changes when you revisit a level at a different time of day, but every time you go back at that same time of day, it's exactly the same.
So it sounds like it does not change. Like regardless, that time of day, those things are happening.
Exactly.
Every single time.
So it's actually more. Well, what do you consider? Death Souls, or what is it, Demon Souls, or what do you consider that kind? Because those games, the enemies are in the same place, right, every time. It's more like
just a really hard game. That's in that category of Sekiro and like all that.
No, I'm not even saying on difficult wise, but like gameplay wise, like the game design wise, you are going through the same areas. You just do it a little different.
Here, Carlos, there was a game. I'm gonna make this connection simply because it's exactly like what he's saying. I played an RPG a while back on PS2 called Ephemeral Fantasia. It was one of my favorite RPGs that was out at the time. But you played through the same 6 days every single time. And in those 6 days, it doesn't matter what time it is. Everybody's doing their thing at that time the same exact way every single time. Another way to look at it was what was it? Majora's Mask.
Ephemeral.
Zelda Majora's Mask.
I was about to say Majora's Mask is something a little more kind of in line with that.
Both these are good examples.
Don't bring up Majora's Mask ass RPGs, Dalan. Don't be bringing that shit up around here. All right, please.
That one's not obscure. It was good at its time.
Ephemeral Fantasia.
Something more relatable being Majora's Mask. Okay, that one. 3 days, you keep rewinding time. The same thing happens at the same time of day every single time for those 3 days. And I'm thinking that's what's happening here with Deathloop.
I want to play Majora's Mask.
I just think you gave up on it. I just think you gave up on it a little too soon. But I really like it.
Hey, man,
and I can understand why it's getting all those nominations. Like actually just 6 hours into
presentation wise though.
Nominated.
Presentation wise, that thing is beautiful, man. That thing, I love how it does the whole like little backgrounds. Go here, go there, and the dialogue between the two leads is pretty nice. So
the dialogue VO is probably some of the best I've seen in the past like 3 years.
Okay, look, so everyone's got a little bit of smoke. Dale has a little bit of smoke with this Forza. Now I want to see that type of smoke with your Deathloop and the Game of the Year deliveries. Okay, I want to see it. Bring it. Dalan is going to be bringing up shit from 2002 called Ephemeral Fantasia, apparently.
Ephemeral.
All right, that's what
you are welcome.
You know what? Hey, different strokes for different folks, Luis. That's all I can say. And I'm glad, I'm happy to hear that you're having fun with it. So I'm glad in that sense that you ignored my warnings that it's the most arcane game to ever arcane. But I still feel like I'm right about Dalan telling him to not buy Alien Fireteam, and he still went and did it. Like, no one's claiming that's game of the year. No one. Deathloop.
No one. Not at all.
Fucking Fireteam chat, and you're gonna be dealing with it in Game Pass. All right, Dalan. What?
Carlos, are you okay? Somebody give this man a diazepam. He needs to calm down.
All right, Dalan. Well, what you been playing? I'm glad you're having fun with Deathloop, Luis. I look forward to some more impressions.
You gotta let me borrow it when you're done. All right. So what we have actually been playing is we've mentioned it a couple of times now, is that we've been going through Halo. We've had a couple of our family and friends join us for these particular romps through the games. We did beat ODST, but I think we talked about us already beating ODST. It was a terrible game.
It's kind of nice. I liked it. I like the noir aspect of it. You just don't appreciate that, Dalan. This is the man that we went to see Blade Runner 2049, and he's like, it's too loud, it's too big. We saw it in IMAX, and I was like, so no, you don't appreciate a noir story. I understand that.
Hey man, I had no problem with it being big and on the large screen, but the sound was hurting my ears. All right, but
I mean, what? But continue, Dalan.
You don't worry about that. Let's worry about the fact that we then moved on to Halo Reach, and I believe we beat Halo Reach in what, 2 days?
we were running through them, man. We're running out of time.
Heck out of Halo Reach.
Yeah,
but I gotta say, Halo Reach actually wasn't too bad. I was hoping that it would be the origins of Master Chief, and it turned out to not be that. But I do gotta say, the game was actually pretty beautiful in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a pretty beautiful game, and it still holds up. They definitely switched up the controls, because then they gave you the extra button to give you a shield or run. Or
but you said it doesn't show you like the origins of it does, not specifically to like.
No, it shows you the origins of Cortana.
But the origins of kind of the Spartans. It's a Spartan.
The Spartans,
group. The Spartans.
Yeah,
so it gives
for
you
the
like
Spartans, but not the Spartan, not our Spartan.
Oh wow, our Spartan. But they give you more than one Spartan, so more than one exists. Yes. And that's kind of the story of Reach, which was kind of great. And it was the last Bungie helmed Halo. Then we moved on to 343's Halo 4, right? Oh, that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, we're in Halo 4 right now, and I think the biggest difference, aside from graphically, is that we got all those new alien weapons, and that was a heck of a twist for me. I enjoyed the new weapons that they threw.
I didn't tell you anything when those things started to animate in your hand too.
Those things were doing things. I was like, oh my god, these are beautiful guns. I mean, some of them are terrible to shoot, but they're awesome to look at while you're trying to reload them, and you pick them up and you see them put themselves together. It's a beautiful game. They really stepped up their game.
Us running through the Halo games have been kind of nice, right? Like seeing the progression, and it's like, okay, it's nicer, it's smoother gameplay, it's getting better, right?
It's like I saw the jump between 2 and 3, and then 3 and ODST they didn't have a jump. It was just storytelling. It's sort
of like an expansion, like a DLC.
But between ODST and Halo Reach, night and day right off the bat. And then Halo Reach to Halo 4. Obviously, their own different types of monsters, but they just had these beautiful ways of implementing their storytelling. And Halo 4, they're going ham with their storytelling, and it makes you really get involved and enjoy it. Halo Reach, they were doing entirely too much with their storytelling. It was actually a little hard to keep track, and you're like, do I care about this character who's about to die? I'm not sure.
Spoilers.
I don't remember a lot of stuff they did.
Spoilers. I like it, man. I like
a character dies in every Halo game.
I like the direction they went with in Halo, man. It's very Red Dead Redemption-ish. If you guys played through that, in the way that it kind of gets to a certain aspect, certain climax to it, which is pretty nice to see. But we played through the Halo game. Are we gonna play a little bit more maybe today, Dalan, or Monday night?
Possibly.
We gotta get this show up. We gotta get the show on the road and all that. Besides that, we've been playing Halo, like you said. We have a looming deadline, man. That's Halo Infinite drops soon. Other than that, I did try out Rocket League Sideswipe, and I gotta say, there might be too many buttons to that thing, man. I thought it was
3 buttons.
It's 3 buttons, as you do kind of make a virtual joystick. You kind of press wherever you want. So Rocket League Sideswipe, if people don't know, it's the iOS Android version of Rocket League. I thought it was like, all right, cool. They're gonna figure out maybe a one-handed solution to this thing. It's like, no, you need both hands for this. You need to make a virtual control stick, and then you have the boost and the flip, and it's. I don't know. I was hoping to be able to like mindlessly play it at work or something like that. You know, kind of how Mario did a Super Mario Run. It's just a one-handed type of game. I was hoping they could figure something out like that. But other than that, it's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. Like I said, I would probably play it more though. It feels like a single hand type of let me get a match in type of thing. But the way that it works is kind of it's really on a 2D plane. And the Rocket League or the goals are kind of halfway up on either side. And it seems like it's got a little bit of strategy, but not as much as, legitimate Rocket League.
I'm going to say you reminded me, and I apologize. I know I'm walking back in this case. I did actually play the Final Fantasy First Soldier game on the iOS, and I gave up after like 10 minutes. just going through the whole the tutorial, that was frustrating enough. Like, I think I got a sense of the game just doing that.
Did you try connecting a controller to it? Maybe connecting a controller to it would be.
I have no idea. It would definitely be better if there was a controller connected to that game.
Connect your
PlayStation. They messed up putting it on iOS because they do the whole joystick thing on the screen, and then they give you a second joystick, and it's weird to aim and shoot.
Sometimes it doesn't work out, man. As far as like this Rocket League Sideswipe, maybe you guys give it a shot. See if I'm correct or if you agree or you disagree. Because to me, I was like. I'm kind of good. I don't know what I was thinking.
We probably got spoiled off of just original Rocket League.
Oh, that.
Do you get any new skins or explosions getting it?
Probably do. I think you do, and especially you can log in with your Activision account and all that stuff. I'm sure you get little perks to it. But I was like, you know what?
Activision is
different companies, but okay.
It's an Epic game.
Epic Games. So you log in with Epic Games, right? So
sure, I was like, Activision, what?
I don't know.
Blizzard has enough problems.
I don't like all that universal login thing. I know it makes sense to be able to play across platforms, but to me, it's like, it's just annoying to do the universe, even though it's a little simpler in that way. Other than that, I did play Metroid Dread. I think I'm at the end. I'm like basically at the last boss, and spoiler alert. I'm bringing the smoke on that Metroid Dread for our Game of the Year, deliberations. Everyone's got a little bit of smoke. Dalen, are you really gonna try to keep bringing up Ephemeral Fantasia, Dalen? Ephemeral Fantasia for your Game of the Year, man. I hope not. Everyone's got the little smoke.
No, I'm not.
Tales of Arise with the new VO.
Tales of Arise with
Tales of Arise is definitely an excellent game, but I can even say that would not be my game.
I already know. Dan's gonna bring the smoke on Kenna, so I gotta play some Kenna.
It's either gonna be Kenna or It Takes Two. But man,
we got some decisions to make.
Yeah, I gotta look through my plethora of games that I played this year. I went through a lot of games this year. Hey, maybe it'll be Super Mario RPG.
Oh Jesus.
Well, okay. Last on the list, I think I might have deleted here. So that's gonna be the end of the podcast. But as Luis was mentioning earlier, there was a limited edition Lakers Master Chief 117 bundle. It actually dropped. It was, when was it? On December 3rd, 2021. So this was.
You just gotta go lower. It's there.
It's a few days ago. They give you the Lakers jersey with 117 on it, a Master Chief figurine, and an Xbox controller that looks, not too terrible, I suppose. And it was gonna be for the low price of $140. That's already getting scalped. Last I checked, it's about $750, $700 on eBay.
Damn,
but
immediately.
Now this was, I'm gonna bring the smoke to Luis. I think you might have had time to grab this, Luis, right? And you're down the street from this thing. The homies asked you to grab them a copy of this thing, of this nice little bundle for the controller.
Oh, I didn't listen to that text.
Okay, I got you.
I did not listen. I walked away.
Why would I go buy something
what?
For someone else?
I understand. But it is kind of wacky. The controller, it's gauche. Is that the word? Is that a word that exists? It's a little funky looking. But yeah, I guess it's kind of cool. A Lakers 117 jersey along with the controller and the figurine. Would you guys have been down for this? Dalen, you would have been down for this?
I got the case of the Mondays. I have no idea.
Oh, wow, Dalen. I mean, we're looking at it right here.
Hey, man, I'm yawning. I'm like...
Luis, for you, what about this? Luis, had it been like a Clippers jersey, would you have been interested in it?
No.
Not even.
Whatever, man. It's all good. I don't need to pay that much for a controller.
I mean, that's more important.
No, but you don't just get a controller, right? You get a controller, a jersey, and a little action figure.
Yeah, it's a little wacky. It's a little wacky. I think I might have considered it, but yeah. I mean, it's
actually that's not too bad of a price.
Yeah.
That's like what, $20 for the figure. 60 plus 60 for it's a $60 jersey and a $60 controller.
Those jerseys
you can just
like,
buy them separately.
Those jerseys are like $120, man.
Well, there you go.
So there you go. And you get
the controller by itself is definitely $60-$70.
Yeah, and the controller is gonna be a good quality, right? Even though it's gonna look a little funky, it's gonna have Lakers colors and all that on there. But yeah, man. I mean, that's about it. And I like that it's gonna be like one of the last promotional things that Staples Centers ever did. It is going to be Master Chief 117 jersey, because obviously the lettering came down, Dalan. I'm sorry to say, man, but the Staples Center lettering
Staples Center said, how are we going to go out? We're going to go out with like Master Chief.
Like Master Chief. We're going to finish the fight this way, and we're going to get our signage go down. Well, that's been Salient Points number 49. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Carlos Macias, your host of this here fine program. What is it? Commander of Ceremonies, Dalan.
Master of Arms.
Master of Arms, Dalan Kirkwood. Thank you for joining us from up in the mountain.
Not my tempo.
Wow. And Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you very much, sir. And that's the show. I think we should be doing I think next is Game of the Year stuff, possibly, because
when is this Game of the Year show? Because
don't be announcing stuff. Don't be announcing stuff yet. But no, we're talking about our thing. Our Game of the Year is like deliberations. I guess we got to figure out a time and place.
Hey, we'll figure it out. We got the logistics going, unlike other companies that got logistics.
We might still have another regular show next week, and then we'll have some Game of the Year talk, some fun stuff with that. All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. Latest, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Latest.